conversation. And I'm coming to you, Ibrahim. How then has that ensured that, has it ensured the price increment, and what's the leap like? Is there a quantum leap in your job for which now we are paying for?
Yes.
The prices, I mean.
I will answer your questions in two folds.
Okay, go ahead.
First, from the input side, that is the fuel side,
okay,
there's been a huge leap, a leap that I don't have to sit here to calculate, because the boards are no longer secret. They are displayed out there for all of us to see.
You mean the fuel pumps?
The fuel pump prices, they are all put out there.
Right.
If you look at the hikes in fuel costs, it doesn't, our fare adjustment don't match up to the fuel price hikes. You see, beyond the service we provide as haulage companies or firms, we also have a business model to run.
Okay.
And for us to remain viable in rendering that service in an efficient manner, we need to be viable as a business. But we have a situation where when we move to the deregulation of petroleum products, government conveniently took away all the subsidies it used to have on fuel costs, replaced them with levies, taxes, margins. But on the pricing side, government still maintained a seat at the negotiation table. In other words, government, whereas they have absolved themselves of any risk in our business, want to have a say in determining the rates that we charge. And we think that is unfair. This is where government has succeeded in progressively suffocating the haulage industry, because we are not allowed to charge economic rates. We, especially at the port, are also mindful of how sensitive our fares are to the competitiveness of the port.
Okay.
Because we are competing as a port amongst ourselves and with ports in the sub-region.
So you say government is now interested in ensuring that, I mean, how the price...
We render the service.
Okay.
But government is not bothered about we being viable as a business.
Right. And what is government doing? What are you accusing them of being interested in the changing of the prices of other pumps?
We think that government seems to be engrossed in the politics of fuel pricing.
How? And I want us to drop that conversation
now,
for the people.
Good. How? Because at the end of the day, I go to buy a drum of what do you call it, diesel. Okay. At about it's now a drum. We have 106 cedis for a liter, for a gallon. Okay. By 50. You do the arithmetic. Then you get one drum. If I have to move from here to Waga, I'm using an average of 6 drums. 21 thereabout to and then you charge a maximum of what? 27, 28. Mind you, you have issues of other factors on the road.
Right.
I don't want to talk. No, I don't even talk about the spare parts. I'm talking about the men in black. The men in black also have. Yes. You understand? These are all things that we have to deal with. So we at the port are not. For example, until last year, around November, December, when there was an adjustment of the 20%, for the past 20 years. We have not adjusted our rates.
For the past 2 years?
Yes. How have we managed to remain viable?
We are making a lot of money.
No, it's because we need to scrape our margins to just near survival levels. Because at the end of the day, we understand the critical role we are playing. It was just last year, even the adjusted figure that was approved, we didn't apply 20, we had to apply 15. Because of the competition we find ourselves in. Now we have gotten to a point where we simply cannot run a viable haulage business at this rate.
So it's even moved beyond service provision. Now it's a critical situation where you cannot run.
In my intro, I told you what we are doing has two components.
Business and
there's
service.
There's a business and there's a service.
Now you've moved from business from service now to a critical situation.
Yes, because now the business has been taken out of the arrangement.
That was taking a long time from your the understanding I'm getting from.
And we think that the time has come for us to reset the meter, calibrate properly to ensure that we are charging rates. But you see, we don't think adjusting the fares is the answer to the problem. Mr. Nsia rightfully explained to us that let nobody try to tell us that nothing can be done about the petroleum price. That is not true. The BDCs, as we speak, are a part of the problem. They are a part of the problem because they are taking undue advantage of the forex uncertainty to safeguard their business model at the expense of consumers, and that is not a fair business practice. You understand me? This is where MPA also is complicit in this whole arrangement, because as regulators, if we from outside can see this, nobody from inside can tell us they don't see that. They simply overlook it because probably within the balance of power, some are more powerful than others. But trust me, the transport sector is more powerful than they can imagine. As we speak to you right from here, we have a forum at the port, and at that forum we're going to tell government our mind. If this thing doesn't change, then there's no need for us to be there pretending we are doing business, because there's no longer a business, and we are not a social service provider. We are a business, you understand, entity, and we need to run for profit to remain viable.
So if you were asked today, are you going to go back to them, before I come to you saying, are you going to go back to advocating for the change in how the BDCs do their pricing? Is that what you're looking for? Or you're calling on government to do exactly what? Because then, again, we say government, the introduction of government and the hands is worrying. What are you calling on for currently as we speak? What
we're calling for example, we have this price stabilization and I think recovery levy. That is something we pay on a liter. If I remember, Mr. Sia, I can help. It's around 29 pesos or something thereabout per liter. And if you look at the volume of crude we import annually, that is significant money, revenue that the government generates. As far as I know, this money that we are collecting in the levy is meant for times like this, when the forex is going beyond our reach.
So just as the name sounds,
yes,
I mean,
stabilization.
Stabilization.
You understand?
Okay.
Now that account, I have never had any figures from it. Government telling how much has been accrued on over what period. You understand? When we have issues with forests, we expect government to fall on that account to provide us with that respite. Then two, what Mr. Nsia said about the BDCs taking unfair advantage in the the setting of their forex rates for use. We think that NPA has excused them to do what they want. But in a system like this, that's why you are a regulator. You come in, have proper dialogue, so we agree on some thresholds, some figures that we can apply. You cannot set yours beyond X of the market rate over this period. That's when I would know that the taxes that are used to pay you, you earn it. But for now, they are not doing that. People prefer to take some populist approach. Some people are making noise. Let's listen to them. The times of noise are long gone. We need to be very practical in dealing with these.
Okay, so the two things I'm getting now is that government must ensure that the price stabilization monies, quote unquote, is used now to stabilize the prices, and also MP has to do the job. Is that not it? Those are the two things.